Hello everybody, hope you're doing well today. Marc G with this back with another video, and I am back today with a thread response to Metal Mickey and Jürgen's kind of joint idea to show 10 shit albums, 10 terrible albums in your collection, not including Sent Anger. It's quite nice to see threads or a thread flying around the VC. If you don't know what that means, that's basically someone's had an idea to make a video, show some albums, and hopefully other people will join in. It was something that was quite prevalent early on when I started making videos in the VC, and it was always a nice way of getting involved in the community, getting to know people a little bit, and to show people parts of your collection, because that's why we're here. We're making videos to be involved with people and to show people your collection. So it's nice for a thread to be flying around. So I wanted to get involved in this one. My problem is really I don't really keep a lot of shit albums. If I listen to an album and it is shit, I tend to move it on. I'll sell it. But I do have a few here. I suppose what I'm getting at is the ones I'm going to show, they're not necessarily shit, they're not necessarily terrible, and I know you're going to think, oh, he's sitting on the fence here, but I've got these in my collection because they're basically albums by bands that I really like, and these albums are just really disappointing. They're just not albums that I play in my collection. I've got them in there, but I don't play them. So I suppose I'm not fully getting involved in this thread because they're not shit and they're not terrible, but they're just, I suppose they're terrible compared to some of their classics. So I'll show you the classic albums, and then I'll show you the ones that I always feel are disappointing. And we'll start off by showing this. And if you're new to my channel, this is a story for you. If you're not new to my channel, you are going to just need to fast forward this bit because you've heard this story a fucking million times. I know you have. But for this reason, this album is proper disappointing to me. So their classic album, Zentrix, For Whose Advantage, and that was followed up by this album. And it's a great live EP, but when this came out, I was so disappointed. And the story is, I was at this gig, I was in that crowd, and when they were letting you through the doors, there was a big piece of paper there, like a big pad, a big book, and they asked you to sign it, and said that you were going to get, everyone who's in this crowd is going to get their name on the thanks list for this. So we were made up with that. How cool is that? What a nice touch from the band. Anyway, as you well know, my name, Marc G with a C, it's Mark with a C. I'm in this on the thanks list, but it's Mark with a fucking K. Mark with the K. That's just not me. It's Mark with a C. So, like I say, if you're new to my channel, that's the first of many times you'll hear this story. Everyone else, sorry guys. But yeah, for that reason, it was well disappointing. Not musically, but when I saw the thanks list, I was proper pissed off, proper disappointed. Anyway, Zentrix from the UK, from Leyland. So next we have got, this band is from Virginia in the US, Pig Destroyer. This is modern grindcore, in your face, melt your face off heavy, just crazy, brilliantly crazy, let's say. This is Prowl in the Yard from 2001, and from 2014 they released this Mass and the Volume. I found out recently that this was put out by Relapse as like a tribute to someone who passed away, I think one of the employees of Relapse, so it was to raise some money for them. So it's for a good cause, but 2 tracks, It says it's Epic Doom EP. It's not. It's extra bits of music that were recorded in the studio when they were obviously recording an album, and it's mainly just sort of slow, dirgy riffs, loads of feedback. It never really gets going. There's nothing about it that ever represents Pig Destroyer. You know, crazy, like I say, in your face grindcore. This is not, and it's certainly not Epic Doom. It's just an epic noise. Next we have got from, these are classed as being from Las Vegas, so I don't know if that's because one of the members is, but this is Defecation, Purity Dilution, the album from '89. Mick Harris from Napalm Death, Mitch Harris from Righteous Pigs at the time got together. This album was recorded shortly before Mentally Murdered was recorded. Excellent grindcore mixed in with death metal. Just brilliant album. And that was followed up in 2003 by Intentions Surpassed by Defecation. Now this is just Mitch Harris. Mick Harris is not involved. He does all the instruments on it, but you know, the drums, they sound like a programmed drum kit to me. I've got no problem with programmed drums, but Defecation, half the band's the drummer, Mick Harris. So for me, it's all right. The music on it's all right, but you just can't have Defecation without Mick Harris on the drums. So very disappointing for me that. They put these away so I don't knock them over. What number's that? 1, 2, 3. So we're on 4. Make sure I've got enough here. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I have. So from New York, Demolition Hammer and their classic album Tortured Existence from 1990. Brutal thrash bordering death metal. Fantastic album. And this is from '94, their third album, Time Bomb. What a disappointment. Again, it's not shit, it's not terrible, it's just disappointing. It's '94, you know, Pantera, Machine Head, all these kind of bands. Thrash was struggling. They just slowed it right down. I think there's 2 of the original lineup aren't in this anymore, and they must have been the sort of in-your-face thrasher part of the band, because this is just mid-paced, almost sort of groove-like heavy metal. You know, it's just nothing like their first 2 albums. From Hull in the UK, we have got Reanimator and their classic album Condemned to Eternity, featuring the Deny Reality EP. 89 and 90 these were released. Excellent UK thrash. And this was followed up in 92 by That Was Then, This Is Now. Now this has got, they have got original vocalist Kev. He's gone. They've turned into a 5-piece. It's just no good at all. There's the third song on it's a cover of Cold Sweat. I think that's Thin Lizzy, if I remember right. But this is just nothing like Reanimator. It's just poor. It's diluted. It's got carried away in that whole sort of grunge thing that was coming in and funk thing was coming in. It's got no direction at all. It's not a good album compared to the Condemned to Eternity anyway. Reanimator. Now from Germany, one of my favourite bands back in the day. This is from 91, Cursed. A fabulous death metal album. They were kind of a little bit different to other death metal bands because of the way the guitars were like sort of finger picking but slow. It was like a digga. It was a real metronomic sort of rhythm that they were renowned for. Marc G on vocals. Fabulous album, this, Cursed. And that was their first full length. They had an EP out before that. They had an album after Cursed called Odium, which is great. Then they released Feel Sorry for the Fanatic. Never mind Feel Sorry for the Fanatic, Feel Sorry for the Fans. This is like industrial, indie, avant-garde. It's changed. You can tell it's more goth because Marc grew his vocals, the singer in it. But this is like, it's like a heavy metal version of Killing Joke. Again, it's not awful, it's not terrible, it's not shit. It's just, you know, going from that to that. You know, the logo's gone. What year was that? 96. So, you know, metal was struggling, wasn't it? But yeah, just boring, uninspired, metronomic. I wanted to say shite then, but it isn't shite. It's just disappointing, and you know. Anyway, again, another one of my favourite bands from Telford in the UK from 1990, Cancer to the Gory End. What a death metal album this is. Doesn't get much better than that for me. In your face, raw, gritty, angry death metal. That's their debut. This is their fourth, I want to say fourth. Yeah, it is their fourth album from 1995, Black Faith. Again, the year 95, they were caught up in the whole Pantera, Machine Head era of metal. This is just like groove metal. And again, it's just uninspired, boring riffs. It was all about, instead of it being about the riffs, it was about the way the riffs were played. So it was just like, it was just an open E. Not for me, not for me. I've got this in my collection because I do love Cancer and I kind of want to have their discography, but it certainly doesn't get played in my cave. Okay, we've got 3 more bands to go. Band from San Francisco. This is an 89 release. Faith No More, The Real Thing. Love this album. This was one of the soundtracks to my youth. You know, From Out of Nowhere epic. Zombie Eaters. Fabulous album. Love it. And that was followed up by this album. And it might be a surprise to some people because I know a lot of people love this album. But I just find it boring. I just find it like Faith No More have believed their own hype, and it just feels like they're trying too hard. They're trying to, you know, they've gone from this and they're just having fun. The writing sort of catchy but different songs. This is like they just took it to tried to take it to another level. It's a bit proggy. It's a bit all over the place. I know people do love this album, but I just find it just boring. Angel Dust, Faith No More, boring. This band from Yorkshire. Now this might shock some people when I show this next album, but this is their second album from 1991, Gothic. An absolute classic album. I love this. I love its raw production. I love its murkiness. I love its dreariness. It's just a brilliant album. And this, I want to say their 5th album, is it? And the one that people always talk about the most, Draconian Times. I just don't get it. This is the first album, this album, Shades of God, Icon, I like this. This is like, I suppose, the point where they were going from a death doom metal band into that more sort of gothic, doomy sound, and it just doesn't do it for me. Plus, as well, it always pissed me off when this album came out. The first track, can you see if it's, I hope that's zoomed in, but yeah, the first song's called Enchantment. You know, my band's album came out in 94, this came out in 95. Were Paradise Lost that far up their own arses that they hadn't heard of us? That's what I always felt like. And for that reason, I don't play it. And I suppose on this video, I'm kind of sounding like a bit of a bitter man, aren't I? You know, with the whole Zentrix thanks list and this. But you know, it just pissed me off. They knew we recorded in the same studio as them. We were, you know, friends with My Dying Bride. We never spoke to these guys, but it just maybe shows you how out of touch with the whole scene that they were a big part of. They actually were. The first song named after a fucking band who were playing the same kind of music as them. Bastards. And last but not least, from Holland, we have got Celestial Season and their debut Forever Scarlet Passion. An excellent, excellent death doom album. Kind of come along like The Gathering came along and we're doing something really interesting, really different. It was the death doom style, but they were incorporating a little bit more into it. From 93, and then their second album, 95, is again, like I said with Paradise Lost, that going down that sort of goth metal avant-garde. They'd kind of lost all of the rawness and the sort of youthful exuberance, and they came out with this. And again, it's not a bad album. None of these are bad albums. They're just ones that just don't get played in my cave. And this has got a cover version of Ultravox's Vienna. No. That's it. We have been listening to Halloween in the background. This is an Asian press, and it's got all the things, all their early releases on: Judas, Halloween, and Walls of Jericho. Love the artwork. Love this album. Love this. Love early Halloween. Kai Hansen on vocals. So that's it. Like I say, not albums that are shit, not albums that are terrible, just albums that don't get played in my life because they're either boring or they make me blood boil. But thanks for watching. As always, please check out Metal Mickey's and Jürgen's contribution to this thread. And I hope everyone who's watched it enjoys it. But I'll speak to you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.